Hello, stamping friends. I'm so glad that you can make it into my studio today. This is the long-awaited stencil paste video. Now, if you're expecting the fancy schmancy videos with the scripting, not finding it here. This is all really simple. So what I'm going to show you today is how to use stencil paste, and I've got a lot of little gifties to show you that you can make. But you can see right here, this is the stencil paste on the onboard chipboard, and it truly is beautiful. And I'm going to show you how to use the stencil paste with our beautiful stencils. Now, the first thing I did was I used the clear big scallop square die with our onboard chipboard. Now, what I'm going to do is take my sponge, and I've done pretty much most of this already for you, but I'm going to take and just swirl around here to finish it off. And I did this to my entire chipboard, and it almost coats it and it looks like leather. I think it's so cool looking. So now let me show you how we're going to use the stencil paste. First thing, I find my stencil paste at Hobby Lobby. It's called Stencil Ease, and it comes in this big tub and it looks like icing. You need to keep the lid on it, otherwise it gets hard and it's not going to be good. Now, I'm using the Vintage Ornaments stencils. They are absolutely gorgeous. This is one of these swirly-durly things. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but the Vintage Ornaments are, I think, $14.95, and they're so great. So let me show you how you're actually going to do it. You're going to take your stencil and just put it onto the chipboard like this. Now, you probably could use some stencil adhesive glue and put it on. I don't even do that. The process is so quick and easy, you don't need to do that. Now, this is a little spatula thingy I got. I don't even know where I got it. And I'm just going to take this and press my hand here. And this is when the cake decorator really comes out in you. Make sure your hand's not moving around like mine. And you're going to just bring the paste over the stencil. Now, the cool thing about this is you can put it on pretty thick, and you can make little swirly-durly things like this. And the thicker you put it over the stencil, well, the thicker your little stencil thing is going to be with the paste. Now, once that is done, you're going to take and just simply lift the stencil straight up. And like that. And look at how stinking pretty that is. And you can see a lot of definition in the raised area. Now, each medium that you use, meaning could be a box, cardboard, linen albums, metal frames, depends on, will depend on your drying time. So for this one that I made the other day, it took about an hour for this to dry. Now, once it was dry, I just took a little sponge, just like these, rubbed it over bordering blue, ink, classic, and just gradually went over it, very gently. And then, what's a project without glitter? No project. So, I took a little two-way glue pen, and I just kind of ran it down the actual stencil, and then poured some dazzling diamonds over it, and voila, that's the project. Now, while I have you here, let me just tell you a couple things. Remember, you want to clean your junk pretty quickly because the junk gets pretty stiff. And you just run this over water. I don't think it clogs your pipes up, at least it hasn't mine yet. Here's just a regular box. I bought at some hobby store. And at first I had done ink, and then I just went and did the paste over it. This box really isn't done, which is why you haven't seen it on my blog. But you'll remember this project. Again, it's just our chipboard albums. And again, I have done a little bit of bordering blue. I did a little bit of chocolate chip and a little bit of creamy caramel coming down. And then I used my spritzer poofer tool and spritzed some marker on it, and it just really turned out nice. This one here is a metal frame, and you'll see that this one has lots of swirlies coming up on it, lots of texture. And this was a plain frame. This one used the Kind Thoughts large stencil, and it really came out nice. I then took some stencil paint and painted over it, and it looked fantastic. Now this is the latest project you've seen on my blog. This was a tile. You'll see the directions on my blog. Just follow those and you'll have a beautiful tile just like this. And again, the stencil paste was done after the tile cooled, and then a little stenciling, little ink over the stencil. The last thing I did was really a trial, and I used the Large Kind Thoughts stencil with the stencil paste, and this is on one of our linen albums. One of the best reasons I use our albums is because we can decorate them to our needs. And I thought, ooh, wouldn't it be pretty to make a real pretty vintage album with some, you know, bling bling there and that pretty fun ribbon, and add a few pearls, and it really, I thought, came out kind of nice. So that is stenciling with the stencil paste. And I hope you've enjoyed my little video, and come back to see me. I'm sure I'll have more. Have a great day.